Astrotometry log. It's August 23rd, 2010. It's approximately 08:30 UTC at the time of this recording. This is an analysis of a recent coronal disturbance, which is possibly indicating a serious seismic adjustment in the next few days. And I don't really know how to call this. I've been studying this for quite a while now. But the difference between this disturbance and ones that I have based forecasts on before is the location of its symmetric active region, translated over the sun's equator. It could be the case that the holes that don't have an active region adjacent are indicative of a different sort of adjustment rather than one that is as sudden. In other words, since there isn't a high contrast here between the active region and the coronal hole, it could be that the influence, or technically the time-space adjustment that is headed this way, won't create a serious seismic disturbance. And so I really don't know how to read this, and so I've held off basically till the last minute. All the other indications are that there could be a very serious adjustment. The solar cycle died again a couple days ago, and I haven't seen the X-rays this low, and so there's practically no solar X-rays. The solar cycle predictions previously, at this point in the cycle, we're in right here, August of 2010. We're sort of, I guess, in the middle almost. The lower forecast was that we would be averaging 65 sunspots. Excuse me, this is 2011. So that would be more right here, more like 50. And the high prediction was that we would be averaging about, 90, 95 Wolf number for a day, an average day in the cycle. And we've had 2 0-day counts in a row. I don't know how to read this again. I just want to stress that we're starting to see some geomagnetic activity coming in right now that may be associated with this disturbance, but I'm not sure that it's here yet. It's going to be arriving in the next few days, and it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of a feature, what sort of a influence this has on the various numbers. And one of the reasons I'm very concerned about this is because this is where the solar cycle started up for a while. And this is the total solar radiance. And it was going up very suddenly and then suddenly dropped. And then this point where it suddenly dropped, this was the Haiti quake. And then it starts to go up again, just climbing, drops suddenly again, and this is the Chile quake. And it started to go up again. We were having some activity, some solar activity. And now this is on the 16th. So this is about a week behind. But I know for sure that right now it's dropping like a stone. And so it's going to be dropping. It's going to be in one of these sudden drop periods. They sort of exponentiate the seismic activity. Now, I was surprised that we didn't see a really, really serious seismic event here, but I think there was one right here. And so this is something that I'm very concerned about, but I don't really know what to make of it because of the location of this symmetric feature. And so if this represents a sort of inward and outward sort of energetic form that we can't visualize because we don't have an imager that images in that frequency, then that could be some sort of problem. It could create some sort of disturbance, maybe something we haven't seen for a while. I have a theory about what these actually align with planetarily, and the planet Jupiter and the planet Saturn recently made a hard alignment, and I'm suspecting that this is the differential in the orbital planes of those two spheres as they are interfering through the primary time axis. And so this might not be a feature we see again for a while, because that alignment only happens every once in a while. But if you look at the frequencies in which this manifests, this is another unusual feature about this hole. It manifests in almost all of the wavelengths that are imaged by the AIA device. But the possible location would be 10 degrees, 20 degrees, possibly 25 to 30 degrees north, or 20 to 30, I guess, 20 to 40. More like 30 degrees right in here. This is probably the center of this part. But if you look at the component feature, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, about 25 degrees south, maybe 30 degrees south. If this is where it manifests, it's possible that both of these regions, both the northern and southern latitudes, the corresponding latitudes, will experience seismic activity. If the active region was next to the disturbance, I would say that it would be probably a 7+ earthquake. But because there's this separation, I don't know how to call this. And I don't even know, like I said, I don't even know which hemisphere to call it, because the active region and the coronal hole, these are component features, like I said. And since they're in separate regions, since they're in separate hemispheres, I don't know how to call this. But this is a watch. I am watching for significant seismic and or volcanic and or other potentially strange cosmic weather until August the 27th.